It's Dulcich week. It's time to throw a party.
God, look at that hair. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
Pat, it's pretty nice that the one benefit of Nathaniel Hackett being the stone cold dog is that he loves Greg Dulcich. That's his only redeeming quality.
He's been dying to play Dulcich ever since that hug. He gets his first game back. The guy's at like an 80% route rate. He's like, get out there. I love you, bud. He's just running around catching touchdowns. He got another end zone target. He almost scored 2 touchdowns in his debut. What a debut for Greg.
It is honestly incredible. It's like the, bad offense, rookie tight ends, notoriously slow starting. And this is like, no way, dude. We're going to just feed this man the ball.
You are our offense. The offense has been so bad because they've been waiting for Greg Dulcich. Didn't want to start the party without him.
God. Nathaniel Hackett, what are we going to do with him, Ben? How much longer can this possibly last?
I don't know. It's been bad.
To me, he has to be number one on the hot seat right now. I mean, there's a few names up there. Ron Rivera fucking trotting out Taylor Heineke to save his job.
I don't think Hackett's going to get – I mean, you don't see a lot of first-year coaches get fired. But, I mean –
yeah, what's the record? Because I think he might be one of the – he's a strong candidate. He's doing his best.
You got to, Urban Meyer it. You got to, get some off-field stuff happening. You got to be caught in a bar with a girl dancing on you and then also have a report that you kicked a player and then, 4 of those things together, then the ownership will be like, yeah, we made a mistake here. But otherwise, admitting this quickly they made a mistake with the head coaching hire.
They've lost 3 straight. They're, 2-4. They play the Jets and the Jags, and then they have a Week 9 bye. I think it's live that he gets fired during the bye if they lose the next 2 games. And that's possible.
Because, a head has to roll here, right? And it's not going to be Russell Wilson's head. He can continue to play shit, and, I mean, they're stuck with Russell Wilson. I don't think they're stuck with Nathaniel Hackett.
They're not stuck with Nathaniel Hackett.
No.
And was Hackett hired to bring in Aaron Rodgers? He might be so they might want to move on from him anyway. They're like, well, that play didn't work.
4-year contract.
I mean, how much dead money did the Panthers eat when they fired
a ton? He was hired for until 2055 or something. Crazy.
We're just gonna give you a 33-year contract.
Figure it out. Wasn't it a 7-year deal? The guy never coached in the NFL. 7-year deal. Here you go.
My favorite thing about the rule firing was seeing the quote that I hadn't seen yet. The Tepper was talking about the interview process and how they went. He got in the room and they went from interview mode to recruiting mode. They were ready to try to convince him to take their job because of the things he was saying. I'm like, dude, that ownership group is not going to hire a good coach next. If Matt Rule coming in and saying a couple of things, because the other stuff that came out about Matt Rule was, he had a whole binder about their brand and they're going to be a hard playing football team. That's their brand. And this is not a professional football idea. Maybe you can convince college kids. I don't even know how he built 2 college programs based on the way some of his ideas were. Cause it's don't even 20-year-olds see through this, but professional players are not going to be like, yeah, I'm excited for my brand to be hard hitting football. This is going to be fun. But the owner loved that.
Well, one of the things that apparently was he was like, I've never been given anything. I was a busboy. And then it was I was a busboy and I've never been given anything. Oh yeah, you've never been given anything? Literal billionaire. I think Danny was talking about that.
When are these owners and stuff going to learn with some of the stuff. Like look back to the John Gruden fucking Scientology level contract with the Raiders. There's just so many ways this shit can go wrong. Like I play in a keeper contract league, and even I know to never give my guys more than a 1-year contract. Like every single time it's an auto 1-year contract. I'm not locking up anyone for more than that. There's too much randomness and bad shit that can happen. And yet these guys are like, let's give Matt Rule 7 years for $62 million and just hope he's the right man for the job. Like it's
they gave him
insane.
7 years. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I don't know if this is. I don't know if I trust Cobra here.
I believe it's 7 years. I mean, he's got this,
obviously you can't hire head coaches to 1-year deals, right? It's not a perfect apples to apples, but you did not have to give Matt Rule 7 years. I can't imagine that he would not have taken less. Nez's comments hilarious. He came in with a mission statement, and David Tepper's like, "Yep, I love your mission statement."
I mean, yeah, I hear you. Obviously, teams are, but it's also like, what? At least let's put some fucking caveats in the Nathaniel Hackett. Like, by the way, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't follow you here, we can get out from this contract in 6 games.
Yeah. Well, what's his
something
contract?
like that?
An Aaron Rodgers clause. If you don't get Aaron Rodgers, we didn't really want to hire you anyway. So.
I mean, that's basically why they let John Elway become GM of the Broncos, because they knew he had a shot to recruit Peyton Manning. It's like, you nailed it. You nailed it. Then they tried it over again with Nathaniel Hackett. It didn't work. God.
I mean, we got a lot of Dulcich shares, so
I know.
What are we gonna do?
You know what? I'm good with it. I just play your favorite guy in the whole world, and we can start with.
So we're willing to let Sutton, Judy, Armelgo shares all die, so Dulcich
they can die,
live.
so Dulcich can live. Absolutely.
It's the meme. It's the meme of the mom holding the kid, but like no one's even treading water. It's just like 18 dead skeletons on the bottom of that pool. Dulcich.
This is so painful, and though it's like a legit discussion.
No, it's
Kyle Pitts or Dulcich rest of the season. Gretch looks disgusting.
No, I agree. It's not really that close. Pitts isn't even running all the routes. Dulcich by I legit think I could make a compelling Dulcich case. I won't do it.
I don't think you could.
Could I not?
Try.
He says he's already matched Kyle Pitts' touchdown total in the United States in one game.
In the United States is your caveat. That's good.
I mean, Evan says, how do we feel about Gordon? So now we have Hackett coming out and saying that Melvin's going to start in week 7 after he had essentially benched him for Latavius Murray.
Why did that happen?
Does anyone know? He was like legitimately questionable. I picked up like backups to potentially start over him in some leagues in case he wasn't active. I have to assume. Gordon wanted to play and said he was healthy, but I have to assume the team was like, "Hey, we're rolling well with Latavius Murray. Let's just keep rolling with him." Like that was the.
But Hackett was asked after the game if it was injury related, and if you were trying to save face or like make your player look good, you'd say, "Yeah, he wasn't fully healthy." But like both him and Melvin Gordon said.
I think you knew that Melvin would contradict him because Melvin was asked after the game. He's like, "I was just sitting there waiting for my number to be called, and I thought I could help the team, but apparently not." Like,
I think Hackett's just not very smart, but that was my first thought when you said that too, is that he must have thought it would have been a bigger issue if he said he wasn't healthy and then the player came out and was like, I was. And then, I think so Hackett right now is in, I don't need any more controversies mode. Like, I don't need anything. I don't need more problems. I'll just wear it.
It's so bad.
I bet Gordon does actually play a lot next week. Like, I genuinely think, like, Hackett right now feels like he's going to do whatever he gets criticized for. He's going to go ahead and do it and try not to get criticized anymore.
100%. He's the plastic bag floating in the wind. Like he's going to go wherever he thinks he needs to go to save his job.
Should consider putting together a coherent offensive game plan. I don't think he's tried that yet. Yeah.
I don't know. I would say this is like a fairly interesting week on waivers relative to some of these weeks. Running back is just fucking desolate. Like, is anyone getting excited for Kenyan Drake?
Nope.
I mean, I'm not getting excited for him, but it certainly cut into J.K. Dobbins quite a bit in terms of like rest of season stuff. He ran effectively, Drake, and I think the whole thesis for Dobbins was like he'd get the majority of the work, and then just the idea that they would go with Drake as the hot hand, even when Dobbins was presumably very healthy, does like I mean, Drake has had stretches of good play in a role like this. Like that's what he did with Arizona. He wasn't actually, he's never been a good receiving back, even though he was supposed to be.
No, I've always had this thing. He's not a good receiver. He's an explosion back.
But this is like the Cardinals offense when he was good is like similar to what he did on Sunday.
Yes.
Like I could see him having a little bit of a stretch here.
Yeah. I don't know why it's so weird. I've always thought when he was with the Raiders, I was like, Josh Jacobs is your receiving back. He makes people miss. He's shifty,
which we always talk about him not being the receiving back.
Yeah,
right.
It's so weird. But then the other guy's fast and gives you big plays. Give him the ball. Give him the ball and rushes. He might be able to pop big plays, which is the whole point of running the ball. He might get some explosive runs.
And like shotgun read option stuff, like taking the handoffs out of the shotgun, reading the hole from a little further back, I think is probably something that Drake is. I don't know. I haven't looked at stats on that, but probably a little better at. I think he's been better in those types of offenses. Was good with Kyler. I mean, the long touchdown run, like a hole this big and just like run through it and just keep running. Like it wasn't like a whole big deal, but Lamar is the threat to run, and all you really need to do is do that. It's like a Gus Edwards touchdown. Run straight, you know?
The thing with Dobbins, though, is his knee apparently tightened up. There was a report his knee tightened up on the turf.
That during the game? I thought,
that his knee didn't handle the
turf. Right.
Yeah, so I don't think it really says that much about Dobbins from like a. I mean, but if his knee's tightening up, that's not good.
The idea for Dobbins, if he's not going to catch a lot of passes on a Lamar offense, was he needs to basically be what Miles Sanders has become, which is this efficient runner, the lead runner, getting all the work and getting the goal line work, which Sanders. 11 green zone touches already, had 10 all of last year. Like he's like a goal line back now, which is great for people who were in on Miles Sanders. That was the Dobbins thesis, this efficient runner getting like 80% of the carries or so. I think the Drake thing is enough of an issue that because Dobbins, I think will still be the lead, but is like now probably down to maybe 60% of the carries. And Dobbins,
that's where I'm at too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes me not that interested in Drake because I'm like, it's probably his best game of the year unless Dobbins gets hurt.
The attractive thing to me for Drake is literally just only a spot start this week because I do think he could be, give you an RB2 start, but then obviously, Dobbins gets healthy, Edwards coming back, Justice Hill back. Like there's no way he holds on to this, but like I'm looking at some of our teams and lo and behold, we could use an RB2 in some spots. So
that's weird.
Yeah, who good? Well, do you know what's really weird? That we could also use wide receiver 3s and 4s in a lot of spots.
It's not even that weird though. This happens to us every year. We're all like, we draft wide receivers in every round, and then we get like week 6, we're like, could really use some wide receivers.
I would say the biggest rug pull I'm feeling like when I go across our portfolio is seeing like all these Drake London and Garrett Wilson teams. That was like, holy shit, we fucking smashed this, and then it just like the floor fell out from underneath them.
Yeah, and it's not their fault at all. Like I think I've been diving into some first read data, which I think is kind of interesting to look at. So like first read targets per route.
We talked about this a bunch. You got your hands on some?
Yeah, I got my hands on some. So I don't have the what I can look at the first read target. I can't look at like you were the first read. Did you get targeted?
Yeah,
but I can look at you. Yeah, I really want that.
Yeah.
But I can look at you were the first read and got targeted. How many times does that happen per route that you ran? Which I think shows you some signal in terms of the team wanting to get their wide receivers the ball, but it's a very positive signal. It's a much more positive signal than I think like a screen pass because it's not a gadgety type of way. It's a legit, we're running our offense, passing downfield is like the most efficient thing you can do. We're running it, and you're the very first option on this play. So
any early takeaways from looking at that stuff?
I think very positive for both Drake and Garrett Wilson. Let's see.
Those teams combined for 32 passes this week, which is like a low volume game for one team.
Yeah.
Wait, is that true? 32 across the Falcons and Jets?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So Drake London's been targeted on first read targets make up 25% of his routes. And that's an elite number. And then Garrett Wilson's at 20%. So 25% is like basically as high as I've seen this year for like full-time wide receivers. So that's pretty good. Like he's already the clear number one option in terms of the way they're designing their routes and stuff. By the way, Traylon Burks was about 18%, so that's why I was like, oh no, he was gonna happen.
He was gonna happen. Where's Elijah Moore by comparison?
Let me pull him up real quick.
Yeah, because while you're pulling that up, that was one, someone in the chat asked about, can you drop Elijah Moore? And the thing with some of these guys is like they're nearing that roster clogger territory where you can't start them and you can't drop them, and it sucks.
We said a couple weeks ago people are going to start getting cut. Guys I've seen on waivers across my leagues this week. Darrell Henderson got cut last week.
Wow.
And that was before the Akers news, but
okay, yeah.
He got cut on Wednesday last week. Allen Robinson got cut. People are out on the Rams. He's available in one of my leagues. Seeing Jarvis Landry in a lot of leagues, not that he's like that relevant, but he's a pretty.
He should be on a roster.
He should be on a roster probably. They haven't had a lot of receivers healthy. If he gets healthy before Thomas, there were some other pretty good ones. We've reached that point of the year where people are like, "I'm gonna cut dead weight," but we all think of dead weight a little bit differently. Probably Elijah Moore is going to become available in some leagues pretty quick.
He's at 13% in this first read percentage, and that's not a great number. That's like Chase Claypool's at the same. George Kittle's actually at the same. Juwan Jennings is above that. I'm just kind of looking at guys as I scroll by, but yeah, Juwan Jennings is above that.
That's why it pisses me off. It's always this like RPOs, and he is the first read. I can think of the plays. It's these 10-yard slants. Oh my God, Juwan Jennings.
But the other thing though about Elijah Moore too, he was getting lapped by Garrett Wilson when even Joe Flacco was running things. I just wonder what is the upside scenario for Elijah Moore at this point?
I don't know that there is one unless Corey Davis gets hurt or something.
Okay, I could see that. Yeah,
but there's not.
But even that is, I think he needs Garrett to get hurt because the issue with both of them is they're not running enough routes now. Elijah's routes have come down, but Garrett is actually earning volume per route, and Elijah is not. Has seriously regressed in that category in year two. He kind of needs to not be competing with Garrett Wilson for targets at this point. Not that
I was also digging into some separation numbers, which I don't know. I don't trust those as much, so I'm kind of grains.
I want to know Pitts for that first read thing when you get a chance. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. But anyway, Wilson on the separation stuff looked really good. He was another guy that, So, which is, have you ever watched him?
If you watched,
it's kind of obvious.
Every time in the red zone, he just
have you seen how smooth his hips are?
I don't think this is crazy. I don't think this is crazy at all. Ball's Life dropped Elijah for Wandell.
No.
Didn't think twice. I don't even think I would have thought twice on that either.
Wandell's got an easier road. And at this point might be better. We were very encouraged by Elijah's year one and should have been. And he had a really great prospect profile, but he's been really tough so far this year. And his year one sample, not huge. So now his full sample is only 300 or so routes. We've talked about this on the show before. His whole sample now, not that promising so far to start a career. Wandell could just be a better player long term. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to be, is what I would say. He doesn't have to be a better player because that offense they've gone extremely run heavy in all three of their Zach Wilson games. It's working. Breece Hall looks like a star. They're just not. They're not going to want to go back to the Flacco style Jets defense or Jets offensive game plan if they can help it. And Moore wasn't very good during that period, because he's not standing out from Wilson. So, Kyle Pitts 20% on this first read rate, which is good. That's he's just above Jalen Waddle. The next guys down the list: Jalen Waddle, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown, Tyler Lockett, Cortland Sutton.
That's good. Peripheral stay strong on Kyle Pitts. That's all. Yeah. That's what I tell myself before bed every night. I say it 5 times. Throw the ball.
Can you bring your family with peripherals?
The peripherals are strong, and then I go to sleep. It's comforting.
Mark Andrews leads all tight ends, by the way. I feel like there's, we see this, and it's this all makes sense. I feel like I should pay attention to this.
What about this? All the Moores here in fantasy. DJ Moore, are we just waiting for Sam Darnold. He was activated off IR. He's not going to play this week. Maybe we get him next week. Is that what saves this?
I mean, I've been saying for 3 years it can't get worse for DJ Moore, but it can't get worse for DJ Moore. This is the bottom.
It sure feels. What was it? PJ Walker had a negative ADOT?
No, they had 19 air yards. He had a slightly because then both quarterbacks played. Did Walker?
He had a negative ADOT, I believe.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They totaled 19 air yards.
Kyle Pitts is killing it. Yes. Let's take our in theory points. I like it.
Yeah.
He's killing it in theory. Wow. Do you guys want to take a guess of who leads whose first read targets have made up the highest percentage of the routes? What the right word for this? First read rate? Whatever it is.
I got a few guesses right off the bat.
First read.
What is the percentage? It's a percentage of what?
It's a percentage of first read targets divided by routes run. So it's like targets per route. It's first read targets per route run. That's what it's called.
Tyreek Hill.
I was going to say Cooper Kupp, which is just such low hanging fruit.
Tyreek Hill is almost right because there's like 4 guys with 25 that all round at 25%, but technically he's like by rounding, he's still fourth. So Cooper Kupp's actually further down than I thought he'd be. He's at 21%. So he's like in the top 12 range.
I had Diggs on my mind as well, but I don't.
Diggs down at 20%.
Down at 20.
He's like in the top 20.
Yeah. Oh,
is it someone surprising? Give us a hint.
Not that surprising. It might not be top of mind. But it's someone
lower volume offense, maybe.
Someone that earns a lot of targets. Someone we see get targeted a lot.
Is it DJ Moore?
No. Oh my God. Okay. That would be so
Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson?
No, that's a good guess.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay, that actually
he's been hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not you let out a little bit heavy there with someone who gets targeted a lot. I was like, oh, which one of these slot receivers is it?
I'm excited to play Amon-Ra St. Brown this week in DFS.
Me too.
I think like that out of sight, out of mind thing is very real for him.
Yeah, I've kind of been searching around for a cover boy on the walkthrough. He might
don't
end
blow
up being
it.
The guy.
Or push him like you did Mike Evans last week.
Oh, I've been like on a roll, man. I had Nick Chubb the week before. I was like, I can't. I literally thought like, should I just name it Ramondre Stevenson and just like, go with a chalk walkthrough cover boy? I was like, no, I'm nailing this. I'm going off the beaten path. And then Leone and Dink double flag plant Mike Evans, and I was like, oh baby, didn't happen, guys.
Yeah, I literally had to at the last minute. I had to pivot off of Mike Evans in my main lineup because I was like, everyone I talked to was on it. There was like
he was like 25%, dude.
Yeah, it was like
the worst play of the week. I couldn't believe it. I could believe it. Everyone had talked about
hot dog. Game. Yeah. All right. Let's see any other waiver thoughts. We're gonna have Nez and JW come on in a bit. Talk a little bit about our team here. Any other thoughts this week on waivers?
I mean, can we talk about Dulcich some more? Are we done?
I mean, we can talk about Greg Dulcich.
No, you guys seem very excited about Thornton, who I like, but I think maybe I don't have the bug the way you guys do, even though I'm kind of like along for the ride. I'm not pushing back, but tell me why you guys are excited.
I feel like he's a really good fit schematically. It's a question of how good the Patriots offense will be for passing weapons, which it's been pretty bad over time, but I'm maybe getting a little bit out ahead of myself. I wrote in Signals this week that I'm maybe kind of like willing it to happen because I just want another fun offense in the league, but they did get a little bit more pass heavy this week. All the running backs were out except for Ramondre. All the receivers were back. I mean, it kind of makes sense. But adding that speed, which they were really excited about all offseason, Thornton's speed, took him in the second round, had a really good camp. And the way that they used him closer to the line of scrimmage, used him kind of like how Miami's been using Tyreek or, the Debo role, if you will. He had 3 carries. He had a lot of shorter passes. Even Curtis Samuel in Washington, however you want to look at it. But with Devontae Parker sort of as the vertical, big body on the outside, Jacoby Myers, and then Thornton as your 3 receivers, it's a really nice mix. And Kendrick Bourne was like completely out of the offense. I think they like what they have in him, and I think you have to be optimistic about how quickly they put him into a pretty solid routes role last week and then elevated it this week. His first couple games of his career, leaning on him already. heavy usage in the red zone. The play before he caught the TD, he got targeted as well. Had the rush TD. Sean mentioned to me earlier today he had another rush that was close to scoring. That's on, I guess, the discussion for tomorrow, stealing bananas. But I missed that one. But a lot of kind of unique usage and exciting usage for a guy who's second round draft capital. I'm excited about him.
Super fast, obviously.
Yeah. It's just a matter of are the Patriots – the issue around the entire league is there's so many of these offenses that are I wrote about this a little bit in Sing Signals, but it makes sense from an NFL perspective that these teams are trying to be good at everything. And particularly with the way defenses are playing, the 2 deep shells, ADOTs are down, yards per pass attempt right now lower than any season since 2008. Teams want to be able to run the ball when they're ahead, especially. I feel like games right now, as we're trying to describe why offense is down, are more script dependent. You see the Falcons get up in part because of a fumble recovery for a TD last week. And then, the Niners came back and tied it, but the Falcons got back ahead on their next drive. And in the second half, they're up 28-14. They run the ball their whole final 3 drives. They punt every time, but they shorten the game and they win this. That was their whole idea. That's what the Falcons do a lot of, right? But a lot of teams are doing that. The Patriots are certainly a team that will do that, which might make it tough to trust the rookie receiver at any point, right? But I am pretty excited about it. It's just that think about December Patriots football.
In the thing too, the reason I played Tyquan in DFS was Aguilar was out, and then some people were saying he sucked out because Kendrick Bourne got hurt in that game too. And I don't know how much truth there is to that. Obviously, way less target competition when you take Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne out, but it's also clear that the team has a massive investment in him. They're giving him touches in the rushing game. They want to get him involved. Even what was it last week? He had a couple red zone targets too, had a near touchdown. They want him to be a part of this offense.
38% of his targets have come on screens. So I think that shows you they're really trying to get him the ball. And then the interesting thing is that on his non-screen targets, he has an ADOT of 15.2, which is a pure deep threat ADOT. So it's kind of a nice prop. If you're hoping for how do I hope the Patriots use Tyquan Thornton? It would be rushes,
literally
screens, deep shots. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, that's great.
And I think this is also a dynamic, just that we have so many big buys this week. Someone asking Dulcich or Otten for a 1-week flyer. With Dulcich, you can have your cake and eat it too. He's the flyer this week, but you also have season-long upside, whereas Otten, I think, could ultimately get squeezed from other guys.
I prefer Dulcich, but I think if it was just for this week, you could talk
a guy that we added on Sunday in a lot of leagues is still available in some, Kyren Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I have had a hard time coming around on that because they were high on him. They used him a little bit in week 1, but they brought back Malcolm Brown. They used him a bunch. He looked like a freaking fullback. He looked bad in that game as backing up Darrell Henderson. We know Akers is probably gone. They're talking about this Ronnie Rivers guy they really like him. We don't know how healthy and how soon at full health Kyren will be. And there's still some questions about his athleticism overall. And more importantly,
his athleticism sucks.
More importantly, whether he could be a runner, right? Isn't he just isn't his ceiling case Theo Riddick, right? An unathletic but good passing back? Right, Pat? Wasn't that sort of the book on him?
Yeah, and he's 194, 5'9", 194. When I watched him and stuff, and take this with the whole salt container, but he didn't look like a tiny guy. He's got he's a pretty thick dude. I wouldn't say Riddick is his comparison. It's
okay.
I don't know.
Riddick
Maybe
super skinny.
I don't know, Zach Stacy or one of those dudes from back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Zach Stacy was a bulldog. But yeah, Pete, you've been pretty high on him. I was curious what your thoughts are on him.
Well, I'm high on him in that I don't think there's much competition in this backfield, and that's been validated with Cam Akers getting run out of town. However, and I asked this to Leone, I'm like, how broken is this offense? It might be like a Denver situation too, where we got excited a little bit about Mike Boone, not to the extent of our opponents, but it's it doesn't fucking matter, right? If the offense is bad and you're ceding touches to a couple other backs, even Kyren Williams is the lead back in this offense. Yeah, maybe he's startable as a fringe RB2, but what ultimately is that doing for you? I don't know.
The thing with Kyren in terms of the prospect profile, he's a good pass catcher, 1.52 yards per route run. That's pretty strong. Not like elite, but pretty good. And he was pretty elusive as well. And he was able to be elusive on a decent workload. He had his peak backfield dominated rating was 73%, which is the metric that Philip Lindsay crushed. That's not anywhere near where Lindsay was, but it's not bad. 64% for his career. So like he seems like a type of dude who could, like, I don't know, could he be like Alexander Madison but tinier, something like that.
I mean, I just looked him up to see how thick he looked, just real quick Googling, and I mean the aesthetic is good. Like he's got the jersey up, you can see the abs, and he's got the abs to support it. It's a good aesthetic.
He looks like a running back, right? Like I was excited about
a running back. I feel like looking at these pictures, I think probably why Sean McVay cut Cam Akers is
Are we doing midriff chasing right now? Are we looking at his
Yeah, we are.
I mean, the ass is really he looks
not seen any ass pics here.
Yeah.
Are we looking at Notre Dame shots?
Notre Dame, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was excited, dude. Like before the combine, I was like, I'm gonna be a really big Kyren Williams guy. And then he tested terrible. So
pick. I mean, and he's got there's a few more of these picks. It seems like in all of them he's got
Pete's scrolling down. Pete's scrolling down.
I can't go any lower.
He tested though. He tried.
Oh man.
Pull up some highlights. Let's demonetize this thing.
Look at this aesthetic right here.
He's got
That's pretty good aesthetic.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he's a football player.
Let's demonetize it. Come on. Get some highlights going.
We're trying to get jacked up about Kyren Williams right now.
Yeah, let's do it. We already got him, right?
Oh my god, I just saw the what do you call it? I can never think of it. Thumbnail for the show. Pat with the long hair and Dulcich with the long hair. Fantastic.
Pete knows what he's doing. He's pretty good with the thumbnail.
Well, I had to bully. I was talking with Connor and Sam. I always asked for a cover boy for stat chasing, and they said Dulcich, and then I remembered the photo, and I was like, no, I got to save that for ours because I have the photo of Pat with the long hair and the heart and all.
If
that.
stat chasing stole Dulcich's thumbnail this week, I mean, guys, what are we doing? We need it for the main show.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, he's not like, didn't seem tiny, right?
No, he does seem slow. He immediately looked over.
He's definitely slow.
Yeah, he's very slow.
He's immediately like, one of these linemen is going to catch me from behind on the first catch.
Yeah, he's definitely slow.
All right, a little
burst.
But that's the thing. Like, he's the type of, he can like burst. He can get you those like 10, 15-yard runs and stuff. You're always going to catch him from behind.
Look at him churning those legs even after contact. Ooh, okay.
I can see the Rams being enamored with this guy. They just like randomly like dudes. Like they like Van Jefferson, right? Like, for example, guys who aren't NFL players.
I feel like he's just Leonard Fournette, but just like way smaller.
Oh wow, that is a great comp. I am getting Leonard Fournette vibes.
Doesn't he have a little Fournette?
Way smaller Leonard Fournette.
He's just tiny Leonard Fournette.
Which is like the whole point of Leonard Fournette is that he's big.
Ooh, that was nice. Yeah, you know how like Leonard Fournette's whole skill set is based on running over people? This is like a small
baby Dusty Zeke.
It's so good.
Baby Dusty Zeke.
I mean, it should probably be Dusty Baby Zeke, but for some reason, Baby Dusty Zeke is so good.
He could be slow Michael Carter as well.
Yeah, James White wishes he could run like that between the tackles. There's no way.
But yeah, he's good enough as a receiver. Like, he was efficient enough as a receiver that I feel like he can be fine as long as the coaching staff believes in him. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to be that athletic to.
Yeah. I mean, the real question is, like, where do you think Darrell Henderson is at with like the coaching staff right now? Like, is he literally just a body to them? Yeah.
They trust him in pass protection and to handle dump off passes, and they don't want anything to do with him as their lead back.
Why?
I don't know, but that's been the case since they drafted him. They like immediately hated him.
I just think they're worried he gets hurt too much.
Well, maybe that's part of it. Maybe they're like, but you know, the weird thing about that is that they have ramped up their other running backs into like big roles. Like, they had Sony Michel handling like all the snaps. to close last year. So they seem to like, and Akers in the playoffs 2 years ago was like a total workhorse. Like McVay's kind of had a thing for a true lead running back, except he just doesn't have that thing for Darrell Henderson.
Yeah,
he did for a stretch last year, but then
first stretch last year, yeah. Then Henderson got hurt, and then Michelle took the rollover, and he never got it back.
It also just feels anecdotally like anytime Henderson's had his chance to lead this backfield, like he's never had the blow up game. Like he's never had the explosive play. He's never like really flashed in a way of like, this guy's earned more touches.
Right. Yeah. He's always like, fine,
completely fine.
Yeah.
But in the same way, fucking Malcolm Brown, what was it, 2 years ago, stepped in week 1 and had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, okay, you did that.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson's better than Malcolm Brown.
No, he's better than Malcolm Brown.
I just need to throw that out there. But you're not wrong. The rest of your point was good.
The midriff comp is Zeke. Zeke famously
Zeke's
showed up to the draft
yeah.
with the midriff, likes that aesthetic for the Cowboys. That's the comp.
What if he's a heavier Philip Lindsay? What about that? Although Lindsay's actually fast.
Yeah, Lindsay's a lot faster than that dude.
I'd get excited if he said a heavier Deion Jackson.
Philip Lindsay.
Deion Jackson.
Deion Jackson already making Deion Jackson comps.
Well, as someone who took a couple stabs at Philip Lindsay in Galaxy Brain last round redacted, I kind of wish that I got the fucking Deion Jackson monster game there instead. Directionally accurate with that play.
you were directionally accurate.
All right, we're gonna have Nez and JW. Feel free to hop on here. Otherwise, I will accidentally reveal some bids
Tiny
a bit
Dylan,
too early.
AJ Dillon, but just
tiny AJ Dillon. That's a good one. He's like he's a big, gigantic man who's not. That's his whole game.
I think people are like they're like saying when Chinese people say all white people look alike or whatever, everyone just says all running backs look alike. Like this is just blanket. You're just literally saying every name of a running back we could think of, and that's what Kyren Williams looks like.
But maybe I like the modifiers. I like the modifiers of how we have to get there.
To Pat's point about the giant backs, I was thinking while watching that quote I've said before about Michael Turner from one of my college buddies, where he used to always say, "I'm not as fast as you think I am," because his like juke move was to like stop and let guys over pursue and then keep going.
So good.
I was thinking that while watching Kyren Williams. I'm not as fast as you think I am. He kept doing that.
Okay, here's a comp. Josh Jacobs, but once he retires.
I don't even get it.
Dude, Josh Jacobs, man. I mean,
it said he's too slow to be Josh Jacobs now.
Josh Jacobs, the stars are aligning for Josh Jacobs this week, man.
Oh,
he's gonna be like 40% chalk in DFS. Texans get gashed on the ground.
He's a great play. I mean,
he's an insanely good play.
There's no pushback.
No, he is. I mean, there's no more pushback left on him. At least we'll always have that Canton Hall of Fame game where he played, and we thought he was done.
Hey, at least we'll always have us drafting him when Leone told us we jumped the shark.
Yeah, we should check in on that team.
Jacobs might have saved it.
What's up, JW?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We're just coping about Josh Jacobs right now. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Nez, welcome to the stream.
Hey guys, thanks. Glad to be back. It feels right. How are we feeling?
Look at you. You're
talking about Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs. So we feel like shit.
How can you feel like shit when talking about Josh Jacobs, man?
I was my wife to see if she'd bring me another beer.
Finally talking about a good player in the league. I mean,
wow.
If you guys want to feel like shit, we could talk about our team and Najee Harris right now.
4-2, baby. 4-2.
Pull it up. Yeah, that's right, JW. Talk our shit.
Let's
go.
We got Ekeler.
No, that's why we had to go this week. This is our thread the needle moment.
Just wait.
Into irrelevancy.
So this team's 4-2. I cannot scroll up where I could, and I could reveal our bids, but I'm going to try not to do that. For the audio listeners, it's Justin Herbert, Ekeler, redacted, Tyler Boyd, Jacoby Myers, George Kittle, Mike Williams, Garrett Wilson. We got Kenny Pickett here because Nez is a big Steelers homer. Pierre Strong, Benjamin, DJ Dallas, Jerick McKinnon, Ty Montgomery because, I don't know, Gretch got drunk and added him to the big group last week. Devonta Smith, Elijah Moore, Khalil Shakur, Treylon Burks, and Tyler Bass. That's the squad, guys. How are we feeling?
Oh, man. How can you not feel good about this?
It's a pretty good spot.
No, like low key, like I really like how this team aged. I'm not gonna lie. I feel good. about it. I mean, obviously the Najee pick just fucking sucks, right? I mean, there's nothing.
Speaking of players who look like they're 80.
How is that team for it to? Watch your mouth, Steven.
Well, look at the player card I just popped up, and that'll answer your question.
It's also worth noting.
Maybe learn about Austin Ekeler.
He had a 1 in a million. I think it's noteworthy because I have not seen this happen often, but we got a win off of a 2/100th of a point tie to get into the top half of the all-play week. We had a sweat going Monday Night Football with the Chargers stack, and the last pass to Mike Williams got us bumped up to tie for 6th place. And I didn't even know what happens. Turns out they give both teams the win. So 7 teams got a win this week.
I didn't even know we had an all play until like the week before. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's a fun wrinkle.
Week, so that's big.
It's fun to like forget about it every year, and then you get to be surprised again. Like, oh, that's all play. It's like, well,
it didn't happen
year.
before, right? It's only the second year, right?
Second year, yeah.
I'm looking at the draft for this team.
This
is the receivers we took because we started running back.
Let's do it. Let's look at it.
All right.
I look back at our draft and like, even if we took like a different running back, like I don't know like who we would.
This room was so.
We shouldn't have taken a running back. When do we ever go running back? Running back.
I mean, if we took Tyreek here,
I know
Mike Williams, Elijah Moore, Devonta Smith, Traylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Tyler Boyd, Jalen Tolbert, KJ Hamler, Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers, the best pick out of all of them.
Jacoby Myers is fired. Shout out JW for that. He was really adamant about
all these streamers that talk about how you need to take receivers early. Just take Jacoby Myers, draft Austin Ekeler in the first round.
We got some flack for that pick too. People were like, "You're fawning over your wide receiver 8." Well, look at us now. He's our wide receiver 1, baby.
This is an argument for taking a lot of receivers because we do still have here. We can go Mike Williams, Devonta Smith, Garrett Wilson. Hopefully starts to hit, and Jacoby. But like Tolbert's gone, Hamler's gone, Boyd is fine. Traylon's hurt. Elijah Moore, we're just talking about cutting him 5 minutes ago. Like not in this league probably, but people in chat were like, "Yeah, I'm cutting him tonight. I don't even care."
We can't, unfortunately.
Why did we invite these guys on to review this team? I can't remember why.
It's the barbell running back strategy, man. That's what everybody's going to be talking about. Like, why do it any other way?
Well, I do want to ask
you guys are missing the whole narrative, though. Still, this is all building up to being the lowest owned Najee team in the playoffs.
Thank you.
The issue with that, JW, is that we won't be starting Najee during the playoffs. So it doesn't really matter how high owned he is.
But think of the differentiation equity there.
Thank you.
Exactly.
We're the only team that has him when he scored 0 points.
You got to get unique.
Plenty of Tyreek teams. Come on, that's boring.
Well, let me ask you because I don't want to start Najee this week. Can we start Benjamin?
I'm hoping. Well, if James Conner
if Connor's
is active,
out, I'd be totally down.
We have to play Benjamin no matter what. If Connor's out, and then 100%. The conversation is Najee versus Garrett Wilson,
flex
honestly.
over like Garrett Wilson or something.
Najee versus Garrett,
and that's a legit conversation that we're having. Like that's
a combo.
That's real, and I lean Garrett.
Oh, for God's sake!
I will say. Jameson mentioning, never take a tight end after Andrews. It's obviously been very rough with George Kittle, but getting 10 targets last week and seeing how they were using him in like the screen game and actually manufacturing touches for him, it was very encouraging. Clears 20 points in FFPC scoring.
Yeah, that was
almost
major.
Had a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The announcer said it was
his
on
eruption
him.
week's coming for sure.
The guy that I
had the Chargers stack hit either, which is kind of crazy because the whole point of this was Eckler's like going to be on record-setting pace for receptions, and it's not even positively correlating with Herbert blowing up yet because that offense is being so weird right now. But
I'm hoping that it's injury related with Herbert. Like I hope that these like woes that we're seeing are like his ribs, but otherwise, it's weird. Brandon Staley's kind of pissing me off a little bit.
Their line sucks. Their offensive line sucks.
Yeah,
they lost Rashawn Slater, which fucked them up 2 weeks ago, and then the rest of their line did horrible against the Broncos. So
I think they missed Keenan Allen too. I mean, Josh Palmer's awful.
For sure.
Like they need another target in here.
Mm-hmm. And he might not even play this week too. Is the thing. Like I think they have the bye next week, so it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't even play Keenan this week.
When you have Herbert, Ekeler, Williams in your first 6 picks, and Keenan Allen goes down, like. You don't want to be saying they miss Keenan Allen after 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You kind of want that to be smashing.
That should be the smash trio now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it'll
Ekeler has smashed, It's
right,
just that he's a running back, and that's not an efficient way to run your offense.
And Mike Williams, just the up and down shit is just like really annoying. But that's what you get with him. That we knew what we signed up for, but we had to.
I think this team is a really good illustration of the whole concept of chasing a legendary running back season, right? And you flirt with the devil every time you do it. You fucking nail it with Austin Ekeler, like truly on pace for a legendary season. And then you go back in and you say, can we big 2 of these legendary seasons with Najee? And you get slapped on your hand. But it just goes how hard it is to hit these. I mean, look at this entire second round. I mean,
it feels in hindsight like we should have known with Najee, but the reality is you look at all those other names.
That's what I was just going to say, is that's why we picked Najee, is on the clock there. I think Pat mentioned Tyreek, and of course hindsight's 2020, but realistically Tyreek was not going that high.
And JW and I had made a stand too that we didn't want Debo in the second. Like it was our decision that we didn't want that. So that's what led us to Najee, where Debo probably would have been the pick otherwise if we had
we had done this draft.
We desperately wanted Kyle Pitts.
Right.
Yeah.
Najee's only mildly worse.
If we did this draft in early September, I think we would have taken AJ Brown, because we at that point had gotten comfortable with just taking AJ Brown.
Yeah.
When we knew he wasn't coming back. So the team would be more fun. But I don't know. I mean,
at this point, Brown would sometimes come back to you in the third. We got him at like 3-11 on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what was nuts with this room, is even still in hindsight, like I'm looking at the Elijah Moore pick and I'm like, oh man, what if we had gotten, and then I'm looking, it's like Thomas, Mooney,
dude, right?
Like everyone was already gone. Rashad Bateman went in the early 4th. Like this room was nuts, and we had no idea to expect.
Look at round 3. We were sweating DJ Moore falling to us. Mike Williams was our consolation.
That's a good point. Yeah,
we wanted
DJ
Moore
smashed Moore instantly. Yeah,
yeah. That was an absolute gift. This was, I think, I don't know, maybe like these lobbies get sharper as because this was like one of the first ones you guys did. I think so. I don't know if people were just
sharpest of the whole season. I don't know. I mean, Pete, Pat, Ben, I'd be curious if you guys felt like you ran into a harder one, but this was like the first or second one, and then Nez and I were tilting behind the scenes every further draft with the people that would fall
this was
in
a
the second and third
one.
round. Yeah, this was.
This was. I remember how tilted we were about this. And
we didn't do ourselves any favors.
The 5 of us, after we got off stream, like talking about it, not on stream anymore, and just kind of all being pretty depressed. Like
so much cope. It was a lot of cope. We're like, actually, this could work. This could work. Like,
well, and if you want to know how competitive this draft in this league was, so Shelley is in first place right now with a 5-1 record.
You guys wanted Diggs, and we were pissed at Shelley for taking Diggs. Is that true?
Yeah, we would have had Diggs.
Yeah, we would have been all over him. Yeah.
Yep.
And literally, Shelley is in first place because he has Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Like literally, that's the only reason.
That's it. Javonte, London, Gibson, Gage, all busts.
Yeah.
If we take Diggs, you guys wanted Swift too. I remember Swift and Pitts both went before us. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
The original thought
Ekeler,
was,
or Ekeler goes before. I don't know. I'm trying.
Our whole thing was we thought for sure Diggs would make it to us, and then as our consolation, maybe Travis Kelce falls. Just no world Ekeler falls that far in a FFPC room, especially. And so we were like, it's Diggs or Kelce, and then in the second round, it's either Pitts, Barkley, or Swift. And
because back then Barkley was still a second rounder in almost every draft.
Exactly.
This was one of the first times.
Oh my God! Look at team 12.
Wait. Connor, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, Elijah Mitchell, Rashad Penny. He does have Kareem Hunt in there. He's got Kareem Hunt as the sole surviving running back. I think
this is like
team.
God.
There needs to be like a dare presentation for dead zone running backs at a school where you wheel out the TV and you show this draft right here.
This started Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews was actually going to be a pretty good team.
I actually remember real time in the draft us being like, oh man, 12 holes sharp. We got to watch out for them. And then
they fudged the shit out of it. They're not even in last place.
Well, Andrews is like the most important player in fantasy football.
Yeah. You said that this week, and you're absolutely right. I mean, the advance rates for Andrews is going to be absolutely nuts.
It does again go to show when you look at, okay, that team's not in last place. The Diggs Allen team, us with Ekeler. It like we worry about like hitting like all these picks. It's like you hit 2 in a massive way, and you're really cooking. Like it really is that thin.
I don't know if people would be able to guess. Team 2 is actually in last place here, and like those first 3 picks, pretty nice.
Yeah.
But losing Trey Lance will do that, and Patterson. But I mean, not.
I guess just nothing. He didn't really hit on much else.
Everything else was an absolute just.
And Fournette got off to a slow start.
Dalton
Fournette
Schultz
the last couple weeks has been
huge.
great.
I mean, injury caused, but huge problem. He's probably been in the lineup a couple times, but then not actually played a whole lot.
Right.
Yeah, McCaffrey's been more of like a isn't killing you guy than paying off his ADP guy.
Seriously though, unironically, if we can Cinderella story our way into the playoffs, what is Najee's advance rate going to be? It's going to be so freaking low.
It has to be
crazy
right?
low,
like insane,
crazy low because most people were taking him over Andrews and Devontae. Like we at least did get a little bit of a discount. A little. We got a little
huge discount. Yeah.
Our models could not possibly account for Najee falling there. It was not even in the realm of possibilities for us.
It's absolutely what you're saying is absolutely like a huge positive to potentially get a low owned, early round pick into the big show.
Not this
particular
guy, but in general. Yeah.
Literally any other guy is who I would like. There's going to be Kyle Pitts teams that get in, and I think you're actually in a pretty good shape because he could be the top scoring.
A total separator. Does have a ceiling if they throw.
What the fuck is Najee Harris? We're going to be arguing to bench him even though he's low owned. Like unironically,
he stinks. He's bad at football.
We'll always have him running those sprints up that hill after practice, though. We will always have
whoever gets us there, Benjamin or Jerick McKinnon is who we're going to be wanting to start the playoffs.
Honestly, what if Najee can be like what if the Steelers Pickett comes back, he looks good, they're willing to pass, and like could he be like kind of a Joe Mixon-y type where he's like now he's starting to score touchdowns because the Steelers
he's getting discount Dameon Pierce. Like let's be real.
Oh man.
Nez, you got to give the upside case as the pick guy. What's
Come on, dude. I can't. They're going to throw me off the stream if I say anything positive about the team.
No, we have Najee. This is
a pro Pickett show.
I know. Gretch has got my back on Pickett. Like Pickett looks like he's willing to take some more shots. No, I totally agree with the Joe Mixon comp. Like Joe Mixon, like is so inefficient. Najee could not be less efficient, but he's getting those looks like close to the end zone. We just need Pickett to get him there, and he's honestly a touchdown or bust guy until proven otherwise. But if Pickett is playing well, then that obviously that bodes well for us. But
the reason I said discount Dameon Pierce is the offensive strength. Like the Steelers could be better, but they're not going to be the Bengals in terms of how many like goal line rushes Mixon's got.
For sure not. Yeah.
But the other thing too, like it does, like all jokes aside about Najee at the playoffs and stuff, their schedule, Pickett coming on, like everything lines up for them. Like when you get into the playoff, I mean, you got Bengals, then Colts, then Falcons, Ravens secondary's been awful, Panthers, Raiders, and then Ravens again. Like their stretch that they finish could be hot. Like they're in the brutal part of it right now, but it gets better.
Don't let Najee get
What are the 3 playoff games?
Ravens, Raiders, Panthers.
Isn't week 14 a playoff week? Like,
Panthers and Raiders are both so nice.
Can you guys imagine if he actually got hot and had a huge playoff run? I mean, first of all, it'd be really cool for this team, right? But then also people will draft him in the second round again.
That's
right.
That's exactly
what we know better.
Yes.
We know better.
Fuck that.
Oh, that's a win-win. Yeah.
Because we need Najee to be a playoff league winner and alter the conversation next year, which is trending extremely wide receiver heavy. We need to dine and dash our second round running back. Get the 1 million and then run the fuck out.
Run the fuck away. Dude, never drafted that guy again. Most people buy jerseys. Nope. Not buying a Najee Harris jersey.
Najee might be a second round pick, even if he just keeps doing this. That's how thirsty the running back market might be next year. There's just like so many guys are aging out. You're gonna be able to talk yourself back in. Look, he's a third year back. They're gonna lean on him.
I'll say this.
We saw Josh Jacobs take the leap.
If we get into the playoffs with Najee and he has 1 20-point game in the playoff stretch, I'll buy his jersey and I'll wear it on Chip Chase.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Clip it. There you go.
Let's go.
It would make me happy enough that we were in and Najee had a 20-point game. I'll buy his damn jersey.
I'm a Steelers fan. I don't even want his goddamn jersey.
Wait, so who got Burks there? It wasn't us, I guess.
No, so let's go through them. So Nez just sent me ours. So we got Tyquan Thornton here for 123, and we're seeing a crazy spread on Tyquan Thornton bids. Second one here was 17. In this one, he goes for 134. We lost out. I believe our bid was the 92 on him in this one.
So there's a Thornton dropping Ronald Jones bid, and it wasn't us. That seems incredibly on brand for us.
No, because we keep Ronald Jones.
No, we throw him back this week.
We're out here bidding $87 on Harrison Butker in this economy.
Oh my God. We lost Gesicki. This is an interesting conversation. I wonder what the audience thinks here. Like Gesicki was dropped in here, and I thought that was like a pretty rare drop. I know that Tua wasn't targeting him early, and now he's coming back. But we lost out on Gesicki. But I think I originally had 100, so we still would have lost on that. But I am curious if anybody's thinking that if Gesicki was dropped in your league, what are y'all throwing on him like that? I'm just
I saw him cut in a ton of my leagues, and I wasn't.
Oh really?
That enthused about going nuts about it.
Yeah,
I think when you look at his preseason ADP, it feels like a rare drop. When you look at the usage, and the usage has trended up, the routes have trended up, but just overall in the way that they're using, the way that the offense is functioning, right, is so through Tyreek and Waddle. He's a useful tight end to have, but I guess I don't see him hitting any of what the preseason excitement was based on what we've seen through 6 weeks.
And Durham Smythe has been out, so he's practicing again. So he's back.
Is the argument there that he's going to take snaps for run blocking? Because are we worried about? Okay. I'm because are we worried?
No,
what is
the argument is for me is his routes per drop back when Smythe was in were a lot lower,
bad.
And they've spiked. So that rate, routes per drop back, all 6 games so far, 44%, 61, still not good. 32, 59, 67, 75. Finally got to 75. You're starting to get into a usable range just this week.
Yep.
The rest of the year so far, it's been in this range of 40 to 60% of the dropbacks he's running around on. I just think the thesis of what Gesicki is, he's a good football player, but why we were drafting him was that he's going to be a tight end that's running at least 70% or 80% of the routes every week. And he's a good football player, but he's
That's
still
fair.
kind of the third guy in his passing game. It's tougher if you're not really getting used that much. At the same time, Miami looks like one of the most fun teams. We can't really overstate how kind of fucked they've been over the last 3 weeks. All 3 games, they've lost the guy that game planned to start at QB in the first half.
Yeah,
3
it's so
straight
weird.
games.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So we were super excited about them for the first 3 weeks, but now it's been kind of, I think, muddled a little bit, but there's probably still a pretty fun team. I can see the excitement for Gesicki, but I'm just I don't feel like the preseason thesis still exists.
Yeah, I'm okay with losing him if we didn't bid 123. That's fine. Or whatever he went for.
Yeah, and to the Smythe stuff, he was out there in week 3. He ran around on 45% of dropbacks. So week 4, 38%. Week 5, he was down to 14%, but I think that's when he hurt his hamstring and then he missed last week.
Look at the spread on these Drake bids. Here's one in our stat chasing, went for 250, next 137. Willis pulling a Buckeye Boomers with this screenshot. Kenyan Drake goes for 427 here. And then check this out. In our Buckeye Boomers league, we get him. Where am I? I'm all over the map here. Where's our shit? God damn it. Too many of these.
That's a well-timed snort.
Here we go. No, fuck. Where is this one? We got him in Buckeye Boomers. Here we go. Kenyan Drake. We got him for 77. No other bids.
Traylon Burks 376. Holy fuck.
So how is Kenyan Drake going for 450 in competitive bids, and then in another league, everyone's just nah? Wild. What a spread.
Yeah, I don't understand.
That's the microcosm of this season, man. You're talking about the guys that are getting cut. It's kind of a choose your own adventure right now. Everybody, so Sean and I did a couple of shows today, and one of the big things that he mentioned to me that I think was really sharp was all the points are coming from the top picks. When you go look back at all the positions right now, it's the first couple rounds. You can kind of call a lot of guys, everything we just said about Gesicki, there's positives and negatives from round 5 on. It feels like that's true of a lot of dudes. I don't know. I just feel like
it was weird. That's true. Because Amon-Ra St. Brown is the guy from the middle rounds. That's holy shit. Did you have him? He's gonna be a massive hit. but like
Waddle.
Jacoby is really good, but like we need to see more.
Jacoby's
But like he's looking really solid.
Yeah, who's from like the later rounds? Because it was like maybe not even the later, but just like
Curtis Samuel's one of them, I would say.
There's been some decent running backs, Miles Sanders, Josh.
I mean, there's not many of them is the thing. So like we're really it's like dire straits there.
Garrett Wilson looked like he was going to be an absolute smash. Now
I guess the other way I would put that is it's not just the players, it's also the teams. Because there's a lot of teams. I wrote about this in Signals a little bit this week, but there's a lot of teams where like we've seen a lot of excitement in their passing game at times, and then almost none. This past week we had 3 teams fewer than 100 air yards. There's only been 4 all year, and like all of those teams had also had games already where their air yards were way up at like 300, 400. Like it's like the Jets, who obviously had a different quarterback, but Washington, I don't know if they were under 100, but they were very low, and they've had some really high games. Philadelphia was really low. They've had some really high games. We're seeing like total Jekyll and Hydes across the NFL for like the team perspective too. So like, I don't know, just as far as what you think of Kenyan Drake probably relates to what you think of, I mean, probably everyone's pretty excited about the Ravens, but it's, I don't know. 2020, there's a lot that hasn't happened yet, I feel like, in terms of like figuring out what these teams even are, or what these players are, or how they fit onto these rosters. It's been a weird year for 6 weeks.
I was going to say three late wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Christian Kirk, and Tyler Lockett have been big hits.
Lockett.
What fake
I
is
put back on Kirk,
offense,
though.
too.
I think Kirk's fallen off a lot over the last couple weeks.
Right. Where would you take those guys in a resurrection draft?
Right, dude. The resurrection drafts were awful. Like it was really hard because you're like, holy crap, everybody sucks after round 3. It's like it was really hard to make a bull case for like a lot of these guys, especially late. Like early on, like you could get like Breece Hall like falling pretty late, which was like really exciting. I got a couple late shares of him, but like otherwise, those drafts were hard.
What about Amari and Lockett and Kirk specifically? Like, do you know where they were going? Off
pretty high. Like they were
high.
Yeah. Like recency bias was like running.
Were you taking them high? Would anyone want to take them high? That's sort of.
I would take Lockett, especially in best ball, like that.
Yeah,
that offense, like you said, just league wide. If that's going to continue, I mean, Lockett's going to continue to have good spike weeks, I think.
Yeah,
but Amari, I mean, you're going to have Watson back at the end, like
right.
I mean, he's got a massive role in the offense.
Yeah,
they're more competent than we thought they'd be without him. So, Olave, Steven put in the chat Olave. That's a big one.
Olave's
probably gonna be the guy.
Like I don't include. We all love George Pickens. I mean, he hasn't done it yet. I'm talking about guys who have like smashed for you so far.
Yeah.
Amari's a guy you can start every week with pretty good confidence.
Ramondre has been nice. I mean, Ramondre is definitely someone we're happy to have.
Mm-hmm. I hope so much of Olave's success isn't due to like the just like opportunity with all the injuries happening to the Saints. I think he's like actually like a legitimately good player. Like I like him just as much as Wilson. He just like they just look starkly different like on film. But it is interesting once like if MT ever comes back for the Saints, like what that will do to Olave. Hopefully not much, but he's definitely making the most of his opportunities.
It's tough for me. Like I wasn't a big Olave guy at all. I don't think like he's got an 18.4 ADOT and he's getting targeted on 27% of his routes. Like
a massive amount. Yeah.
That is really good
Devonta
profile.
Smith is
that's
another
really
one that
profile.
went low that I think.
I had no idea his ADOT. I knew his ADOT was high, but that's super freaking high.
Well, he had that one game where he had 300 something air yards by himself. I was just talking about how like some teams didn't even hit 100 or 150. He had like a 48 on him, like 13 targets. It was like an absurd fucking.
But Dalton's chucking to him downfield. Like everyone's like, this is how I win. I hit Olave downfield.
I mean, he's a clear hit. He's a clear hit.
Yeah.
So this is, this is the last resurrection draft I did. Snuck it in before lock, and you can see here all the players we're talking about: Amari, Lockett, and Olave, all 5th round picks in this. Wow. Christian Kirk went in the 4th round here.
Yeah,
not into that.
Breece Hall in the 2nd. Holy shit. I mean, I get it
because it's too low, or
no, it's just crazy. It's just the way
I think it's too low.
It's
no,
too
I guess
low.
just like
his
the way
playoff
that
schedule too, man.
No, just the way that it flew up. Like I've seen his price, like the highest I saw it was like in the 4th.
Where did Najee go?
Oh, dude, he goes late, 5th round, end of the 5th, right next to Pete.
End of the 5th, too early.
Oh my
Seriously,
God.
too early. We're starting Benjamin over.
Yeah. Wait, where's Dameon Pierce?
ETN should have gone
Dameon Pierce
ahead of
does go
Najee
ahead
for sure.
Dameon Pierce and Josh Jacobs both go ahead of Najee.
Well, and it goes to show again how much even these drafts were influenced by like just the week before, like getting Jamar Chase and AJ Brown here, like a string of like 2 down games. Yep. And then whereas if it was like, if you had done this, the resurrection drafts right after that first game, like AJ Brown was probably going like 1-5, 1-6 in those.
The 3 QBs in the first round, I did not understand. I mean, that's how ADP.
That's how it was going though. ADP settled in, and it was just all the top 4 went in the top 20 picks.
But I got to be honest, I think we're going to see that next year.
No, well, we might see something like that, but they've already put such a gap between the rest of the QBs. This is a draft for rest of season. So what this is saying is nothing to do with them having a 30-point gap already or whatever. They're going to do 30-point gap again, and these 3 guys are going to finish 60 points clear of the rest of the field.
It's not a good bet.
That's not a bet that I want to make.
If it carries
over Justin
Jefferson,
great, no, thank you. Josh Allen is awesome.
The thing, what I think is going to happen is I do think there's going to be that tipping point in drafts next year too, where people are so grossed out by the running backs that they're going to say, fuck it, I'll take Josh Allen. Fuck it, I'll take Jalen Hurts.
Josh Allen's a 2nd round pick next year. I agree. I don't think he's going to be a 1st round pick.
He'll be a 2nd round pick for sure.
Yep. And I do think eventually throughout the summer, like Mahomes and Herbert will like push down like a little bit.
Well, once Allen goes there, it's going to, the next guy's not going to last past like the 4th. Like it's going to start to.
The only way this works is if you have Josh Allen. Like the Josh Allen pick of these is the most defensible in some ways. They're like the Mahomes pick in a second. Like,
yeah, definitely not that.
Allen can go for like 40 points back-to-back weeks, like he can win. He can actually win you this thing like a 3rd overall pick has to.
It just absolutely insane. Kyle Pitts and Taysom. And like, if you would have told us that, like in August, your head would have, like, your eyes would have rolled out of your skull.
I think it would have been all right. I would have had a lot more free time in August because I would have stopped drafting right then and there.
I'm singing the Wedding Singer "Somebody Kill Me Please" song in my head as I read that.
Oh,
how the fuck did we get here?
Yeah, it's one, like, some of these are crazy, right? Like, if anything, you don't get Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's like touchdowns that he's already scored, and if anything, you should be more bearish on him than when the season started, and yet he's going 2 rounds.
He's like an 11th, 12th round pick.
That's it.
Right? How does he go in the 5th? He should be sliding.
Yeah, these were exploitable.
Well, at least he has Melvin Gordon.
Oh, looked like some donkey took Cam Akers in the 12th. How did that happen? Jesus. Whatever. I recovered by taking Sky Moore.
That he gets kicked off the team before he even plays.
Hey, you got Tyquan, dude.
It's all right. We made up with it with Tyquan Thornton there.
Talk to me in the thought process of taking part-time tight end Noah Fant over.
You guys are so bearish on Noah Fant. We finally see positive indicators on a guy we like in one of the best offenses in football heading into the best game of the week.
You took him 1 pick ahead of Dulcich.
You took him 1 pick ahead of Dulcich, man. What are you doing?
Well, it's because I had Geno Smith, brother. Ever heard about correlation?
There's this really good YouTube video you should watch. It talks about week 17. It's fantastic. I'll link it to you.
Thank you. So like to circle back to our FFPC team, the one thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to have to keep getting W's because we're behind in the points column.
Our luck is absurd.
Yeah,
we're like
insane.
the 3rd lowest scoring team, but we were 4-2. Like,
we did
suck it.
One football guys, ironically, out of the 8 hole as well, and it is smashing all the picks that we wanted, like Andrews, Diggs, Lamar, and we are 2-4. With 956 points. It's like the inverse luck. But we're protected because we're like far and away the most points for. We're going to get a playoff spot. But it's just like unreal. We are like 200 points ahead with 2-4, and this team is 4-2 somehow.
It is a good note.
We have fewer than 600 points against. We're averaging sub 100 against us in a 2 flex tight end premium league.
That's crazy.
Insane.
Go.
It's that
you
Najee
get lucky to have like
intimidation
one of those against you.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I think is a legit strategy note for us on that is we should really be taking kicker and defense pretty seriously going forward because those weekly wins are so important. I'm hearing it my echo here from one of your guys' speakers. But because that's so important, like I think you start to get to justified, maybe play a peek ahead defense, start looking ahead, just because like we're not getting there on point. So we have to figure out how to win each week on a weekly level.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I like that we have the Patriots though. I mean, like their defense is really, really trending up, which I feel really good about. And who we got a decent kicker this week, I think. So
we need to go kicker grinding. I thought we didn't have a kicker right now, actually.
We didn't, but we got one. Oh, Jesus. I don't
even
know who
that's a made up name.
What the fuck does that say? Oh, this is the guy filling in.
We don't have a kicker.
Hopkins, I guess.
Okay, can you click on it? That look at the picture. That's definitely a made up picture too. Like that's a creative picture.
Bro, this name is Bear Toilet.
Is that Denny Carter's hair and like just like a stock beard? What
this guy was a week ago? He was a gondolier in Venice, and now he's in the league, and he's our kicker. I swear to God, Paulson could do a bit where he just put a fake player up in the top 6 of his kicker rankings and would get me to add him on like 18. Great bit.
Yeah. He's like, watch this. I've gotten Pete to add 3 made up players.
That's an incredible stream against the Seahawks. I love that. I actually am like very excited about this guy now.
Exactly. Look at this. He drilled all 3 of his field goal attempts and 3 extra point tries in a victory over Cleveland Browns. He was activated earlier this week.
Hopkins kicked last week, and we saw it on Monday night. He was all hurt, but he made all the kicks. So Hopkins is probably definitely out now again next week.
They said a few weeks.
Why aren't his points in there from last week?
Because I assume that game was from last year.
9th. That was 10 days ago. Hopkins kicked in week 6.
No, Bertollet.
No, the little blurb said he made his field goals, but he has 0 points on the.
He must have been in the Canadian Football League or some shit, because I don't know where he was kicking those.
Did you pick up the wrong Taylor Bertollet?
No way. There's only one. And he's our starting kicker.
Why aren't his points in there? That's crazy.
October 9th?
You know what we're going to...
Was that last year? Is that blurb from last year?
It must be last year, man.
Oh, no. This doesn't look good. We're getting error messages when I click this guy.
He doesn't exist, dude.
We weren't supposed to find out about this.
I love it. So there's a glitch in the dates on these, right? Because this is from last year.
Dude,
guys, just trust the process on this.
No. He kicked in week 5 in Cleveland. He should have points there.
Okay. All right.
I'm looking at it on Pro Football Reference. He got 3 extra points, 3 field goals. None of them were even 30 yards long. They were 28, 25, and 27-yard field goal. They were shorter than extra points. That's all right. That's our kicker.
Guys, can you imagine being a staff writer for a team blog that had to write an article called "Another Week, Another Seahawks Opponent Playing with a Backup Kicker"? Someone had to fucking write this article. Mookie Alexander had to write this article. Mookie,
give him a follow.
We praise you.
I mean, when he gets this assignment from the editor, he's like, "Are you seriously fucking kidding me? I need to write this."
He's an editor. You were talking to someone. They have editors that are signing out best kickers.
He's like, "I just need a tight 400 about another backup kicker."
Tight 400.
You may not think that this is a meaningful storyline. Was the start of one of the paragraphs there?
Was it
the start of the third paragraph? You may not think this is a meaningful storyline.
Well, you're right about that.
We still don't, Mookie. We still don't. Brandon Staley is one of the more aggressive coaches in the league when it comes to going for it on 4th down, but with a backup kicker whose 3 career attempts were all chip shots, don't be surprised if that further impacts his decision making, like we saw with.
Kind of selling me. I don't know. Maybe they won't kick it.
You know what? Kind of an interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, you want to talk about, I got engagement farm because this is SEO #1 when you search for this dust ball right here. So congratulations. They got my click.
You got farmed.
I got farmed.
Someone needs to update his wiki because this mythical Cleveland game is not on it. There's a lot of entries on this thing, man. It's just him getting signed and cut repeatedly. I'm rooting for Bertollet, man.
He's got birthday equity. I think he's playing on his birthday.
Oh, let's birthday chasing. Let's go.
I don't know. Pete clicked away, but I thought I saw October 24th.
Born October 24th.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Do you have a birthday narrative here?
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Turning 30.
Wait, but that, wow.
It's a big one.
Say
The big
less.
3-0, dude. They're gonna win 3-0.
Yeah, well, or he's gonna kick 30 field goals.
Or he gets 30 fantasy
okay.
points. Yeah.
Dare I say,
even better.
get paid, get Berto laid? I mean, some people are saying it.
I like it, man.
Get
Berto laid.
I don't know where we go from there, guys.
This is how you get to
really
5-2.
This is how you win low scoring games. You get the right kicker.
That's right.
I
God, I
can't
can't
believe
wait
it.
to shank one and get benched mid-game.
On his 30th birthday, Bertolet's blown it.
They're like, Joshua Palmer has actually been serving as the backup kicker in practices, and he's going to come in to kick this 17-yarder.
They're showing him like Melvin Gordon on the sideline.
Palmer's the only Charger we don't have. Wait, timeout. We have Herbert, Ekeler, and Williams. We don't want field goals from this team. What are we doing?
It's the highest scoring game of the week. They're going to score 70 points. Bertolet is going to drill 3, 9 extra points. Trust
5 touchdown passes, 5 field goals, 10 drives. That'll work.
All right. This has been a lovely time. Let's get those W's, guys. Nez, tell the people what's going on with Badge Bros these days.
Yeah, sure. So we got a lot of streams going on over there. If you haven't followed us, go ahead and check us out or subscribed. Badge Bros YouTube channel. It's me, John Warner, Roto Run, Numi 2, Shane. We are just streaming just a ton of battle royale content over there for Underdog. So got a promo code coming. Big news. For any new people out there. If you haven't registered on Underdog, we'll give you the promo, but yeah, that's been a lot of fun. Having a lot of guests on there. I know we've had Kyren on there. Pete, you've come on there. So yeah, it's a good time. So just check us out. If you haven't checked out those battle royale contests, they are easier than you might expect. They're pretty fun. So yeah, just
also,
chopping it up over there all week.
Speaking of that public service announcement, definitely do at least one battle royale this week. Underdog is going to have 100x pick'em boost next week for anyone who enters at least one battle royale. So literally only $5, and they're fun. But to get that 100x boost next week will be pretty sweet. JW, what's going on with you, buddy?
Nothing crazy, just going to go back on that kicker grind, find, our next gem for next week and try and keep winning.
You knocked it out of the park this week, bud. Yeah. A guy on his birthday, unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Say less.
Got to just line up that schedule.
Gretch, anything going on in your world? Very fun podcast. You and Sean, I was listening to it today, talking about all the reasons why scoring is down across the league.
Yeah, we record 2. We usually do 2 on Wednesdays, record 2, release the first, the other one will come out tomorrow that has more of that. Good episodes, fun episodes, I thought. But yeah, no, stealing signals, stealing bananas, stealing lines, all the usual stuff. I also ordered $24 worth of Taco Bell tonight, and I wanted to emphasize that after Twitter.
That's hard.
Hammered that guy for saying that he ordered $26. Important night in my life. I ordered $24 for the Taco Bell for myself. I hadn't eaten all day. It was a busy day.
It sounds fun. I'm kind of jealous.
You deserve that.
It was great. It was great.
Treat yourself.
I just want to say, though, the Dalton Coach of the Year bet that he put out, it broke my heart. It broke my heart, Gretch.
Who was it again?
Arthur Smith.
Oh yeah, God. I mean, I'm trying to bring this guy along, young guy. I'm trying to mentor him. I'm trying to teach him a thing or two. He's a smart kid. He's got a lot to learn. We're gonna go back to the film room this week. Do
you know what's also so funny? So it's in your announcement channel. You guys get all of the futures bets, the props, and people react to it with emojis, flame emojis, and the other posts all have emoji reactions. Not a single emoji reaction to the Arthur Smith one.
And it might be the longest thing he's written. I just looked it up. Like it's just so long trying to explain it. It wasn't a terrible explanation because he's super long odds. He's still like 40-1. But like that can't win. You have to be like the 1 seed to win Coach of the Year.
Dalton says to play it to 3,000.
30-1. Yeah.
Pat, what are you about ready to ship the walkthrough this week?
I mean, I'm not ready to ship the walkthrough. That I'm about 24 hours would be conservative until I ship the walkthrough. But yeah, working on it. I'm deep in the weeds. Got some good new stuff. I've always the thing with the walkthrough is that if I'm ahead of schedule, then I go find some new stats that are fun, and then I get behind schedule again. So I did that this week. I got some new fun stuff, first read data, that type of thing. And you can check out preview show on Roto-World Football Show. We'll be out tomorrow, and then I'll be on Fantasy Football Happy Hour again on Friday, talking through some of the games that should be fantasy rich and fantasy poor from the walkthrough.
Nice. Yeah, don't put Amon-Ra St. Brown as the cover boy. Let's leave that as our
I think I'm
secret,
going to.
all right?
I'm probably doing that.
Also, be sure to check out Stat Chasing as usual. That goes live for YouTube members on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. They stream that if you guys want to hang in the chat, and then we post it later that night and Wednesday morning. So be sure to check that out. They continue to get rave reviews, doing a great job going through all the data, have the charts that they post in the Discord as well if you'd like to mull over those a bit more. I'm trying to think what I got going on. We're having Liam on Lulz tomorrow, so if you guys want to see Liam, our friend, our Best Ball Mania defending champ, chop it up on Lulz, talk about his boxing matches he's been getting into on Twitter, all that good stuff. We'll be doing that tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Enjoy your week. Get those W's.